Hello, welcome to the Nintendo Bros podcast. This is Pete.
And this is Derek.
And we're back. It's been a little while, hasn't it, Derek?
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, we've been busy.
Yeah, and here in Canada, it's Thanksgiving weekend too. So,
yes,
that as well. And the good thing though is it's almost been a month or almost a month since our last chat, but it's good because we've had lots of time to play Splatoon 3.
Yes, I've had a good time with it.
Yeah, it's been out for a whole month now. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that actually is crazy. It's flown by.
Yeah, totally. And I noticed you played for about 15 hours. I checked your profile.
Okay.
I played for 30 hours. And
okay.
It's actually one of my most played Switch games now.
30 hours brings it to the most played. That's crazy.
Not the most played. It's like the 8th most played.
Okay, yeah, I'm about the same then probably.
Yeah,
not for Splatoon, but yeah.
It's almost about to overtake Metroid Dread.
The fact that you put 30 hours in Metroid Dread is insane to me.
Well, I beat it 2 times, but here's the thing with Metroid Dread is that I think the hour time got inflated because I paused it a bunch. So I don't know if that score really represents it because my total score, my total time in the end of my runs does not equal anywhere close to 30 hours. You know?
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's beside the point. We're talking about Splatoon 3. I figured this would kind of be like our Splatoon 3 review episode.
Sure, that sounds good.
Because even though I see it as a kind of a forever game, I think that we've had enough time with it that we both could have been reviewers at, publications and reviewed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyways, so let's just get right into Derek. Like, what's your overall thoughts? Because I know you weren't as excited going in, but I think you kind of got turned around on it how much you liked it.
Yeah, I do like the game a lot, and I probably will be playing for quite a while until my next kind of Switch game replaces it in the cartridge slot, which could be a long while actually. I haven't beaten the single player yet. I'm probably 75% done it, which I'm enjoying a lot. It's not amazing, after a while.
Where are you specifically in the single player?
I've unlocked all 6 worlds and I think I've 100% cleared 3 or 4 of them.
Okay, so you're a little. Yeah. I'll just say you're a little further than I am.
Okay,
but yeah, I think we're similar. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Like, there's been maybe 3 levels that have been a real challenge to do with a certain weapon or something. Mm-hmm. But overall, it does feel a little bit like a tutorial. You learn all the secondary weapons, you learn the specials, you kind of learn some game mechanics. Again, it's fun. I wouldn't say it's on the same tier as a lot of other Nintendo's kind of campaigns, but that's obviously not the meat of the game. Mm-hmm. As far as the lobby games like Turf War and the other ones, I think that's where you spend most of your time, so you can talk about it more. I like Turf War, and I do go to it once in a while. I tried the Anarchy series or whatever once, which was quite fun, and I think I'll probably do that more. I haven't really tried the other modes, like Clamshell and whatever the other ones are, Rainmaker and something else. I haven't really tried those, so that's kind of one area I haven't really experienced, and I don't know how to really get into them, or I don't know if I'm really interested in them without playing them with you. So maybe next time we play together, I'll jump in that with you.
Yep.
But the one I've been playing a lot of, which is probably my favorite mode in the game, is Salmon Run. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm having a freaking blast that I'm like professional +1 or +2 or just something high up, and I'm enjoying it a lot. It is challenging, and I feel you don't really feel frustrated when you lose, because every time, even if you lose, it feels like an intense, fun round, mm-hmm. and you can jump right into a new round super quick. So overall, I really like the game. I do see myself jumping in for every Splatfest and kept playing. I think my hours are lower because there are already other games coming out for other systems that I want to dive into. It's not that I won't jump back to Splatoon, but it's kind of like, if I'm splitting my time, I hum and haw about which game to play. So it's not like it's the only game I'm playing right now.
Yeah, I mean, same here. And there's a couple games coming out soon that I'm looking forward to. But yeah, Splatoon, it's just one of those games. It's so easy to jump in for 10 minutes, and I think that's the reason why I play so much. Because like even before this podcast, like I had a little bit of time. I had 20 minutes, and I just had the sound off. Vanessa was playing music, and I just threw it on and played like I don't know a couple levels of single player. And sometimes I play just. Sometimes I go on during a day, and I'll just go to the shops, see what their best items are for the day, do a couple turf battles, and that's it.
Nice.
So it's easy to play for short bursts and long bursts, which I think makes it so easy to like end up playing a lot. Where other games, like a Elden Ring or a Bayonetta or Zelda, like you kind of have to sink into a bit more.
Yeah.
Where Splatoon just kind of you just jump in. With just talking about I guess my overall feeling is I love the game. I feel like there's like more than enough for me to do.
And I was gonna say, even if you get tired of one mode, it's so easy to switch to another one. It feels fresh.
Totally. And it's like it's not one of those games where you just like beat the single player and then grind out the multiplayer for a bit and you're done. Like there's so many options, and not only that, but all the weapons control so differently. So if you really get bored of like the game style, change to a sniper, change to a paintbrush, change. You know what I mean? Like you can completely change the style of game you're playing. And I love that about it. And I just like it. It feels like it's a weird in a way because it's very iterative, in that it's not necessarily a new experience. Like it builds on the past, but it gets it to such a supreme place. Like there's just so much content and so polished. And even the single player, I know we both hoped that it was going to be something like a little bit more. And now that I have heard rumblings that like the ending is really great. Like the last stretch kind of is bigger than people think, and there's a bigger, more challenges there. But so far, yeah, the single player has been only slightly less forgettable than Splatoon 2 and 1. Like there's not, I don't, the levels kind of I just beat them and I don't think about them much. I haven't had challenges on any levels yet.
Yeah, again, there's only two or three, and I don't know what you're doing, but I was playing where I'd always pick the hardest weapon for each level.
Oh, okay.
So always do the one that gives you the highest reward, because some of them can be pretty tricky.
Yeah, I noticed that the reward you get though is like 200 extra of those things, right? So it's like not
Yeah,
a
it doesn't
huge
mean
extra.
it doesn't mean much. Again, sometimes it actually is fun because it's like hit all the targets in a certain amount of time. And you only get the bow, so it's like you have to like really be good at shooting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seems that there's a bunch of a handful of like interesting levels. Like I did the one last night where you have to like match the boxes. Like you have to destroy the boxes to match the design.
I did that one recently too.
There's like target ones. So I like some of those challenges. It reminds me of Octopath, but it seems like a lot of the levels are really just kind of get to the end. And they're not super challenging. So I don't know. I mean, I haven't beaten it, so I can't really say, but it's not incredible. But I mean, I can also see this kind of game for how much multiplayer options there are. I can see them being like, oh, here's, five quick tutorials on the single player, and that's it. Like I can see them just not having this there at all.
Yeah, like I'm glad it's there, and I'm still enjoying it, but there's not a lot of depth to it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not terribly long. But I'm glad like the precedent is there. Like I'm glad it's like they don't. I mean, I really could have seen them having no single player. So I'm glad they do something, and I'm glad there's like a light story and a light open world and light collectibles and even like the bosses. It does change it up, right? Which is nice. And the thing I really like about the single player as well as Salmon Run is it kind of forces me to try the other weapons. Where Turf Battle and Anarchy Battle, I really just stick to the same style of weapon. I've been playing a lot of Turf Battle because I find it's the easy. I honestly think it's the one I'm the best at. So if I'm trying to rank up my gear and I've used a ticket on an upgrade, I'd rather jump into Turf and just win. Where in Anarchy, I've found that whether I'm doing Open Anarchy or Series Anarchy, like it's like people are just so much better and it ranks you better, right? Like it ranks you with people who are as good as you, so it's a little trickier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been sticking mostly to when I stick to anarchy battles. I usually check what is up in the anarchy battle. So I'll kind of see. And my favorite are tower control and splat zones. Splat zones is my favorite by far.
Yeah, Splatoon is the one I did. Yeah.
And yeah, usually I'll kind of like turn it on and I'll just choose like it'll be like one of them, whether it's open or series will be splat zones or tower control, and I'll just choose whatever, whether it's open or series, like whatever. I just basically choose based on the mode. If that makes any sense. Yeah, like you, I've only did the one round of Clan Blitz with you the one time, and I've actually never done Rainmaker in Splatoon 3. I don't really know how those games work exactly. Like I figured out how Clan Blitz worked, but Rainmaker, I think it's kind of just like get the golden gun kind of wet. Like it's like get the item and hold it for 100
Yeah,
seconds.
it's almost like it's like King of the Hill but with a weapon.
But I love Splat Zones. Like Splat Zones to me is the best mode.
I had a blast doing that.
And I find tower control can be fun, but it feels really weapon dependent. And I know there's like certain teams where if they get the right like power ups, they can almost be like unstoppable. You know, like you feel like you're just getting spam destroyed the whole time.
Yeah.
So that can be tough. But the good thing is like it's like it doesn't. I mean,
it doesn't matter. You don't feel like I play other multiplayer games and I feel like salty or toxic or like annoyed when I lose. With this game, it's like whatever I feel.
Yeah, same here. And you know, it's funny. The first Splatoon game when it came out, it was only turf battle and splat zones. So over time, all these other modes have been added, but it's just I don't know. I like the idea of something like Splatoon where it's like it almost feels like an infinite amount to do, almost like Call of Duty, where there's just so many modes and so many options and so much depth that like you can explore the game how you want, versus kind of have to scrape out what the game is in its entirety. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's big, and I also love like the town layout, and I mean I like the little things like.
I like the people's drawings all over the town.
Totally, and I also like the locker thing. Like it's meaningless, but it's just fun little gimmies, you know.
See, it's funny. Like for me, I just am not. I haven't played enough of the game, or I guess even care enough to like. You know, I haven't done the locker. I haven't played that card game. I haven't even done like you were talking about like these power ups. Like I don't know. Like there's food and power ups and stuff that I have never even bothered with. I just jump into a lobby and play one of the rounds of one of the games.
Well, I would highly recommend you use your tickets on food. Always.
Okay, but yeah, I don't even know like what to do or where to do that or.
So I'll explain. So in the lobby where you go to turf battles and the anarchy battles.
Yeah, there's a guy on the side you can
stuff.
talk to. Yeah, I know. I'm kidding. Like I know what to do. I don't really care. Like it just gives you more XP.
Well, it's either doubles your money, doubles your XP, or doubles the team XP and doubles the team money. So you get a lot of those tickets in single player or the campaign and in Salmon Run, and that's the only way to get them. I think you can get them from I think you can get them another way too, maybe from the card battle game. But you can buy them from the little gumball machine in the lobby that's cost 5,000 per day. They say you always spin that every day. Because you get tickets there, but it's like for me, I'm always playing with a ticket because I have enough tickets where you know you take a ticket, you eat the food, your next 20 matches have the upgrade.
I just like I don't really care to upgrade or level up. You know what I mean? It doesn't really do anything for me.
Well, to me, it's the leveling up has to do with powering up my gear. So it's my shoes, shirt, and like headpiece that I'm trying to level up. I don't care about the level.
I just don't think I'm that hardcore about even like getting my gear to like. I'm just having fun.
True. I guess it's just kind of like the meta game, right? But I gotta say, like you really do feel it, and I think for me being like more of a splatter shot guy, like I want to basically have the most amount of ink possible. So all my upgrades are focused around the ink, and usually what I do, and I did this in Splatoon 1 and 2, is all once you get high enough that you start seeing the 3 item slot items, I just buy whatever 3 item slot item comes up always because I have enough money. You buy, but only buy the 3 slot items and like max them all out. And after a while of playing, like once you kind of get, let's say a little bit, more tired of playing or a Splatfest is coming up, then you choose your best gear. But for me, the kind of the meta game is like I just want to buy clothes, fully upgrade it, buy more clothes, fully upgrade it, buy more clothes, fully upgrade it. And then, but it's a noticeable difference when I play, like when I'm playing with all new gear that I'm trying to upgrade and they have no upgrades yet. You notice that you're not as good. Like I notice my ink running out faster. I notice my respawn time slower. I notice that my grenades aren't as strong. Like all these things do matter. Yeah. So there's a lot to this game, And so one thing I was going to ask you is I've been reading online a lot about disconnection issues with people. I haven't had this problem. Have you?
I haven't had, no, not a single one.
Okay, yeah, because the online for me has been pretty smooth. Like there's a disconnect from time to time, but it's been really smooth.
I think I've been disconnected in the lobby, but not in a game.
Oh wow, okay. I've been disconnected in a game a few times.
Never for me ever in a game.
It's usually because someone else quits, right? Like the old Splatoon, in Splatoon 1 and 2, if someone quit on the other team, you just destroy the team 4-on-3. But now if somebody leaves, then they get penalized and you just get kicked out of the match.
Oh, see, I've never had that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's so you don't buy tickets and like waste them, right? Because you get screwed. But it makes sense. I mean, it's funny though. Like I went to my friend's house and his internet's like kind of sketchy, and we couldn't get in a single match because I was trying to show him the game. He's like, "Oh, show me Splatoon." So I popped my Switch in. We couldn't get into a single match.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, like, I mean, I don't know what the solution is here. Like his internet works, it's fast enough, but I think it's like he needs a new router. I don't know what it was, but it was just weird because it was such a flawless experience for me. But I'm seeing people online saying they like every other match is disconnecting. Nintendo did an upgrade to fix that. I really don't know. I don't know about that. You know what I mean? It's,
Yeah.
it's kind of like not my problem, right? And I made some other notes here. I haven't tried the card game either, so I was kind of hoping you had to tell me about it.
Honestly, I don't even know where to go to find the card game. I don't even know where to go to find the locker. Like I press X, I go to the lobby, either single player, salmon run, or the lobby, and then I just play.
So you don't you don't even like utilize the hub.
I don't even look at, the only time I've looked at the town is during when I was like ending my session one time. I just wanted to go see all the drawings, and then during the Splatfest when I wanted to go see the drawings too. Like I don't even, I find the frame rate so bad in the town that I just want to skip that immediately.
Well, it's a locked 30.
It feels so.
Well, let me say this.
I don't like it. And your character runs so slowly. I just want to go right to where I want to go.
I know what you're saying, but at the same time,
I don't even go to the shops.
Okay, I know what you're saying, but also it's the reason that the 30 frames per second it feels so jarring is because the rest of the game is so smooth at 60. But what I usually do is when I start the game and start off in the town, I don't notice the 30 frames. Like this game has the ultimate kind of trickery around your eyes getting used to 30 or 60. Because the moment you quit a turf battle or leave the lobby, it's like, whoa, it feels like it's running at 20 frames a second. So choppy. But then after, I don't know, a minute, I don't even notice it anymore. So
yeah, like that's not the biggest deal for me. It's just your character moves slow, and I just want to get to the gameplay. Like I just want to play the game.
True. Yeah. I just there's more to the town than you might think. Like there's a guy that you can go and like test any level. There's obviously the people running around, but like if you play against someone, they're going to show up in your town, and then you can actually go up to them and see what their items are and order their gear. And like, you got to spend some money to order it, and that comes like a day later. And then there's someone, there's even a person sitting outside the lobby, like the tower with the lobby, and they were actually in the first and second Splatoon, but like they were a kid and now they're like an adult. And they can re-roll your items.
Okay, I met that guy. So yeah. I know about that, yeah.
And it's funny, like even next to the Salmon Run building, there's a building for local play. I don't know if you saw. There's like two green arrows on the top.
Yeah, because you can get to that on the map too.
Totally.
Or pressing X.
And
Yeah.
it's pretty much like I don't know why I would ever go to that room, because even if I was with you in person, like you and I would just go online to play other people online. I think it's really just for like tournaments and local 8 players, right? Like I think that area is not to be. I guess I don't understand the difference of going to that local lobby. I guess I'm just wondering, if you and I were together and we both had our Switches, do we go to that local lobby first, join our games, and then do everything else? Or do
No.
we, like, I guess I just don't quite understand how that area works.
I think it's for people that don't have internet, or people that they don't want their kids playing on the internet for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I think it's kind of it's a very rarely used function. I think.
but I don't.
So it's easy.
Yeah, but I don't think like you and I could go there and play a 1-on-1. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
I don't think that's I don't think that's in the game at all. Like I don't think there's 2-on-2, one. I think you need to have 4-on-4 for a battle. So I guess my main question is that green arrow area, that building, is that just for
it must be for tournaments.
for tournaments? Yeah, but anyways, my point is like it's a place that you and I never need to go, but it's cool to go into once, because it's like they designed an entire lobby and training area just for that. And there's a guy to talk to, and there's like its own music. And it's like they designed the interior of this place for like the most rare time for anyone to go to. So, I mean, I was just running around the town when I first got it. I ran in there. I was like, oh, what's this? And I was like, oh, wow, like this seems like it'd be its own mode with how much detail and design they put into just this building and the lobby of this building. So I just thought that was interesting. Like the level of detail, really.
Yeah.
And the the card battle thing, that's like in a back alley. So like you gotta like the town's actually just a big loop, right? It's a big circle.
Yeah.
And if you walk the whole circle, you see everything. And the card battle, you can't really miss it. It's in like kind of a back alley area behind the lobby building.
Yeah, to the right of the lobby behind it. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, anyways, I really like, I love the town. I think it gives, I actually think it's like one of the best parts of the series, is that it gives the whole game like a place, you know?
A world and atmosphere, yeah. Like, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I am trying to avoid it. I want to get to the game, and I just find it slow. And I just, like, it's cool, but I don't need to spend 15 minutes there every time I play.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, most of the times I play, I press that. I skip the intro video with, the I can't remember their names.
R3, like, right joy click in?
Yeah, but it's like Shiver, Big Man, and then I can't remember, Pearl?
Fry.
I skip it every time. I check the levels. I warp to the lobby. I don't even run into the little elevator thing. I just press the L button and get right into it. You know, so I don't really engage in it that much either, but it is fun the odd time. Like I really like how like before a Splatfest, like you see the things setting up, and then the whole thing changes during a Splatfest, and then the few days after Splatfest, that they're like packing it up.
Yeah,
and,
I really like that the all the pictures are Splatfest themed.
Yeah.
During the Splatfest, so everyone's like has a grub or gear drawing. It was cool.
Yeah, I really wish more games took this approach. Like I think you mentioned in one of our earlier podcasts that Mario Kart should take this approach, and I fully agree. Or Mario Tennis, like it's just so cool, and I actually think the next evolution is that it's actually an MMO in a way where like rather than just seeing your avatar as a ghost in the lobby, I'm actually seeing you move around the town too.
I just don't think Nintendo will have the internet infrastructure for a long time to have that.
Yeah, and it's also kind of needless. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the point of me logging in and needing an internet connection so I can have more busyness in the town? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point? But it's just like I don't know. The level of detail just staggers me. Like, you can really just look up and see such little designs in the posters. And I mean, the other day I just zoomed in on two other people's Inklings just sitting on a bench, and they're playing rock paper scissors. and I'm just watching them play rock paper scissors, and it's like they are both like winning and losing, and it's like it's like doesn't feel as canned as other NPC animations. And the fact that all these people are based on real players' avatars makes it just gives it this life that like really if Splatoon is a game where you just went to a main menu and you just chose the mode and it loaded that mode, it would just be missing like this such an incredible amount of heart that this game
Yeah, it would
has.
lose a lot. I agree.
So yeah, I really love that about it. And then I mean the last thing I'll add here before we get into our scores is it's like I said earlier, like it's not like they really added anything crazy new, but the enhance like the subtle things they did add, like hell, skipping the intro video with where they announced the levels, like that's really really impactful. And just being able to join friends is so much easier. I mean, even for us,
the
it's been
join friends is
easier.
big, yeah.
And it's also allowed me to, my one friend who I play with, his name is Matt. Like, he's not an online gamer at all. Like, he literally does not play games online except for Splatoon 3 and 2. Like, he did not play Mario Kart online. He doesn't care about online. And Splatoon's the one game that gets him to play online. And I think it's because it, like you said, it doesn't have that hyper competitive nature. But also it's because it's so easy for me to to turn Splatoon on, see that he's playing, shoot him a text and be like, hey man, I'll make a room. And then we're playing for the next hour. And it's like, it's great.
Yeah.
It's something I've never had in a Nintendo game. Sadly. Like I've never, no Nintendo games ever had that.
Yeah, Nintendo's never been good at, as far as like, especially online, but just ease of partying online and like not, like I think of even Smash Bros. Like I find, or even Mario Kart, like, in some ways the options are so limited when you're playing online and with somebody that it doesn't feel like Splatoon it just works because you can do everything. It's easy to join. All the modes are available. It's quick and easy.
Totally. And it's like, imagine they had some of this implementation in Mario Kart. It'd be awesome. I really hope that Mario Kart 9 includes all of this, maybe even more. And it's just, the other thing is like, even, last night I turned the game on at, 9 o'clock at night, and I see someone who I haven't even talked to in a long time. It's actually my friend's ex-girlfriend who I added on Switch. And funny enough, I saw her playing and she was doing Salmon Run. So I shoot her a message over Facebook. I'm like, hey, do you want me to, let me join I'll make a room. Like, let's play Salmon Run together. And she's like, well, why don't you join my room? Because my partner's in it. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know you and my friend broke up. But anyways, I jumped into a bunch of matches with her, with the three of us, and we had a random every round. But like, it was so much fun. And I haven't even touched on how much I love Salmon Run. I really enjoy this mode. I mean, I wish there was more to it because it always feels like it's just such a great mode, but I love how it never feels the same. Like it really never does.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still have things to achieve. Like, have you beat the King Salmonid yet?
Not once. I got close one time. One time I had a really good team. We got him down to like maybe 10% life, but then we all got wiped.
Yeah, you need the right balance of level, like the level being not the small one. You need to have the right weapons because, if someone has a roller, it's like it's not very, I find a roller and the sniper not very effective when it gets to that crazy amount of enemies.
Yeah, you need the right bosses appearing too. Some bosses are some mini bosses are like completely broken.
Like the one that pops up from below.
Oh, that one's easy. That's like the fastest one to kill. The hardest one is the flying one that you have to throw grenades in both its sides that has homing missiles on you from across the map. That one is broke. That is the hard. Like everyone online, or I was reading on forums, are like hate that one and thinks it needs to be nerfed. It's broken.
It should be nerfed. I think there should be a way to shoot it down.
People should say it should be, if you get one grenade in, it should be destroyed.
Yeah, or you should just be able to splat it enough to take it down. I saw a little I mean, I don't know, it's not an Easter egg, but it's like kind of a one of the guns that's like one of like it's not a splatter shot, but it shoots kind of like a pop. It's almost like a shotgun in Splatoon.
Oh,
I don't know what it's called.
The splatter blast, like you shoot like a ball and explodes like 5 feet away, right?
Yeah, that one can take it down. Like that one, you don't need to. Yeah, That doesn't need a grade. It's like there's a couple of those guns, but granted, in Salmon Run, like you're not guaranteed to even get that gun.
Yeah.
But there are little tips, right? Like I mean, I know with for example the roller. If you put the roller, I'm so bad with the rollers, but if you put a roller out and you move very slowly forward, you basically create a barrier for any guys to come toward any of the not the non-bosses to get through. So rather than going quickly, like you don't need to go quickly. You don't need to do the jump and splat with the rollers. Like you can literally just roll slowly, and you basically create a wall. You know,
That's cool.
and I mean, yeah. So it's a great mode. I hope it like gets enhanced. Like I hope they add to it. Because with Splatoon 2, they added more and more levels as time went on. So
Yeah, they added some more bosses and more levels. That'd be awesome.
yeah, totally. And just before we get to the score, Derek, so they have announced like, there is, ongoing upgrades and weapons being added in DLC, but they have mentioned a significant paid DLC. What do you think? Like, what's your prediction that what do you think this mode is?
It's got to be more single player, just like the other one.
You think?
That's all it could be, because I don't think they're going to split their player base on multiplayer. I just don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna. I guarantee it'll be some sort of new mode, like from the town. There'll be an entrance that's one of those new kind of roped off areas.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I don't think you'll go to Alterna to like see more maps down there. I think that campaign is complete. But I was thinking,
Agreed.
I don't know if they would just do another straight up campaign but harder. I think they would maybe. What I'm thinking they do is maybe a 2-player campaign.
That would be cool.
Where you can either join with a random or join with a friend, and I think they might even do it. I mean, this is just a baseless prediction, but what I hope is that rather than it being like a finite amount of levels that you and I have to beat, it's like almost like another approach to Salmon Run, where maybe it's like
like procedurally generated.
Yeah, like somewhat procedurally generated. Like we have new random weapon sets. The maps are maybe there's like maps that have some sort of changes, enemies that have some sort of changes, and like every day or every couple days it switches, and you just get items from it. Like the tickets and the things you can use elsewhere, money. But it's kind of a reason for you to jump in anytime. But I just think there's something to be said about like Splatoon's always been a team of 4. And I just think it'd be really neat to have switch that up. Like either a team of 8 going against bad guys. I don't know if the frame rate can handle that. Or like a team of 2 or 3 on a team. Something like that.
I think that would be cool, I think.
Yeah, and it could even be something.
Even if it wasn't procedurally generated, even if it was like 40 levels of just 2-player campaign, I would still be in for that.
Yeah, or even if it was just, let's say it's 40 levels, but the items sets switch every week. So if you and I get into it, it's like one guy has to get the splatter, one guy has to have the sniper, and a really team-focused kind of match,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm excited nonetheless. I think we probably have to wait till probably next summer to hear about it. Just based on when Octo expansion came out.
Yeah, I think it'll be a while.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, Splatoon 2 came out in July, and the Octo expansion was announced in December of 2017, and then it came out in mid 2018.
Okay, so
if I remember
maybe this December or early next year we'll hear about it.
Yeah, like March they'll announce it. It'll come out in July or something. Yeah. Okay, Derek. So we talked a lot about Splatoon. Any negatives for you in the game? Like any points that stick out or things you'd wish were fixed or changed?
I do. Again, I already said this, but I wish you moved faster in the town. I wish you just run speed was faster.
Yep.
Other than that, not really. I guess my only gripe would be with you. Like, just send me a text anytime you're playing, even if I'm not available. Like, just shoot me a text if you're gonna play for like an hour. I'm usually free. Okay. Other than that, no. Like, I like the game a lot. Like, it's one of those games where I don't have any issues with it, and I like it a lot. But it doesn't ever make me love the game. Like, there's never a moment where I'm like so into it, like I am Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart, where I could just grind out hours and be so into it. It's like I really like it, but there's just moments where I'm like, I'm having fun, I'm having a good time, but I'm not like obsessed with this game.
Interesting. Yeah, for me, I'm the opposite. Like I do just love it. Like I just love the way it feels. I love the world. I just like love the feeling of community around it. The art style, the balancing. I like you said, I like the feeling of getting destroyed, and I like the feeling of destroying the other team. Like they're both feel good. Feels good to lose. Yeah, interesting. Because in a way, I would look at this as kind of like, when it comes to Nintendo's multiplayer online, online with an asterisk, their multiplayer games. It seems to me that Mario Kart, Smash Bros, and Splatoon are like the trifecta.
Yeah.
I would put things like Mario Party in a lower tier, and I would put something like Animal Crossing more in a single player category, where it really seems like these are the three kind of competitive natured Nintendo games. It's really hard for me to compare because, yeah, I honestly really can't compare the three because I love all three so equally in a way, and they're both also different. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I love Splatoon. Like the only thing I really can think of them doing is like pouring more gasoline on the iteration, like making that bigger single player mode, or maybe with
Or adding more multiplayer modes.
more multiplayer modes, or in the future even maybe some sort of like with a more powerful console, you can have like an 8-on-8 or a 10-on-10. I don't
Yeah,
know.
with some vehicles even. Like there's some cool ideas that are possible for sure.
Totally, but I really kind of feel like Splatoon 3 is kind of it's weird. Like when I'm thinking about my score, it's hard for me because on one hand, taking it face value in a vacuum, to me this is like almost a perfect game. Like it's a 10 out of 10 in that way because you've got this, 10-hour single player, you've got so much multiplayer, so many unlockables. Like there's just nothing. It's a unique experience that nothing else copies. And it's just in that way to me it's a 10 out of 10. Like it's such a great game. But because it's so incredibly iterative on a game that came out only 4 or 5 years ago, and then the Splatoon 1 only came 2 years before that, it just doesn't feel as new. You know what I mean? And it doesn't
Yeah.
feel as like it's not like, oh my god, this is Breath of the Wild, this is Resident Evil 4, this is God of War 2018. Like there's no like woe to it. And it's almost a little bit too bad that Splatoon 1 did come out on Wii U and did come out in an incredibly bare bones state. Like it came out with like 3 maps for multiplayer. Like Splatoon 1
Yeah.
was so bare bones that it had to like build up. It feels like the series has been building up. So I'm at odds. Like I think my overall score would be a 9 out of 10 because I love this game. It's a forever game in my opinion. It's great, and I think it's the peak of Splatoon before it can. I don't see a Splatoon 4 just doing light iterations on this. Like I think you need to do major stuff to go beyond 3.
Uh-huh.
But it does feel like it's the peak of what they set out to do with 1, if that makes any sense. Like they've built the thing that they were trying to build, and in that respect it's a 10.
Yeah, like I find it kind of crazy because, the fact that Splatoon 1 was such a huge success on the Wii U, which was like a dead system in a lot of ways, that it was big enough that it became, a cultural phenomenon to the point where they made Splatoon 2 like soon after on the next system. Yeah, like I think Splatoon is a great series, and I kind of agree with you. I find Splatoon 1 was a little bit almost like a proof of concept. They just said, hey, like we had this kind of cool idea. Let's see how it sells. Let's just put it out there, and it became big. And you're right, Splatoon 3 is kind of like, it is almost the same. It's almost like 1, 2, and 3 are the same game. It's just kind of like now it's fully realized. Like all the ideas are fully fleshed out the way they should be.
Exactly.
I don't necessarily agree with you that Splatoon 4 is going to be a big difference because I don't think Nintendo's big on that. They often do the same things over and over and over again.
They do
So I
and they
expect to
don't,
see-
right? They do and they don't.
Yeah, you're right. Like sometimes they either have radical changes or they have no change.
Like
That's
like
kind of how I
Mario
see
and
it.
Zelda need to be reinvented every time, but like Smash Bros doesn't, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for me, like I said, like I really like this game. Like, and I went in not thinking I was going to get this game at all, and I ended up getting it and really enjoying my time so far, and will continue to play it. But again, like you kind of said, for you there was no wow factor. For me, it was just like there's no like total addiction factor where I could sit and play this game for 7 hours. Like eventually I reach a point where I'm like, okay, I've had enough Splatoon, time to switch games or time to go do something else. So for me I'd give it like an 8.2. Depending on how the next couple of years go with what kind of comes out of it, or honestly, that like the biggest thing for me is you're the only person I know that has this game. So if you're not playing it, I'm playing it alone. So it's kind of like, well, a driving force for me enjoying the game is multiplayer games, is playing with people. That's, I think that kind of affects my score a bit, but overall it's good.
And there's no local multiplayer. And that is something that is weird when you think about Smash Bros. And Mario Kart. Because I don't think you play Smash Bros. Online very much, do you? You're probably mostly playing local, right?
I honestly didn't have Nintendo Switch Online until I got Splatoon 3. I was not using it at all.
Yeah, now, I mean, you said 8.2, but if the game, let's say Splatoon 3 was the first Splatoon, would it be higher for you?
Definitely. It'd be in the 9 category for sure.
Okay, yeah, because, I mean, the one thing to me that I always kind of like, it's so easy to talk about all the stuff around the game, but when you really think about the gameplay itself, like, it's so, I just think it's like one of the most brilliant game designs ever. Like
I love the actual core idea of like you're painting stuff, and the whole goal isn't to necessarily get as many kills as you can, but just to paint the floor is just a cool idea.
It's brilliant, and it's just such a genius way to take on the genre of shooters in a way that's kid friendly, non-violent, and also
creative and unique,
and also like inclusive. And also feels incredibly good to play. And I mean, I know people say like Fortnite has really good gyro implementation, but to me, it's the gyro implementation makes this play differently than anything else.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't know if I agree with that because a lot of games have gyro now. I use the gyro, and it's the first game that I've really sunk my teeth into using gyro, and I like it a lot. One thing I would add that you said is, you mentioned inclusive, which I totally agree with, because I think of, even like a 4-year-old could play this game, and even if they're not getting kills, could just shoot the gun and paint the floor, and they're still actively helping their team. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's kind of like one of those games where you could have terrible aim, you could be playing this game with one hand and still be like, oh, I'm actually like having fun, and I'm participating in my team, and I'm helping my team. I'm not just dead weight. Right. Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of a cool feeling, especially that's kind of like the vibe Nintendo goes for, and I think they nailed it.
Totally. And I mean, we also should mention that, it has no microtransactions, and it's all like in world, where like with something like Call of Duty, like you go in and you're like, okay, you got to sign up for my battle pass or whatever. I got to register my account. I've got to go into this character creator. Like it's like,
yeah, all these menus.
It's like rote. You know what I mean? And like you're like adding numbers, stats to things and stuff. And that's like most multiplayer shooters, where in this game it feels like it's all in world. Like it feels like, oh cool, I'm like buying these shoes. You know what I mean? Like it's such a different approach. And like when I go to play multiplayer, like I love how it's like this giant tower that has this giant kind of billboard of light on the side of the tower, and you're like, I'm going to the tower to like connect to the world and like show off my big skills to the world. Like it's so like it all feels motivated in world, where like Call of Duty is like, okay, you're doing a battle, but like you die and come back, and like what that battle really has, it's just kind of a simulation, where in Splatoon it doesn't feel like you're simulating battles for a gamification. It feels like you're like in this world that's hyper obsessed with this competition of painting,
Yeah.
And you're just kind of part of it. And I just think the some of the innovations that this game have brought is just amazing. You know what I mean? Like just a staple series, and I'm excited to keep playing it, seeing where it's gonna go. And I think Splatoon 4 it won't be on Switch, so at the very least there'll be more graphical power. Maybe the town will finally be 60 FPS. That'll be the big upgrade.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyways, yeah, awesome game. I mean, it's going to be on my game of the year list for sure.
Me too, for sure.
Okay. Anyways, let's move on. Let's get into a little bit of news, okay?
Yep.
So not much here. Near Automata came out for Switch recently. And apparently it's a really good port.
Okay. Okay. That's not where I thought you were going with news, but okay. Yeah, Near Automata.
Why? Is there other news?
No, you just made it sound like there was gonna be some Nintendo news, and you're like, oh, Near Automata is like it's a game that's been out for years on many systems. It's like, oh, it's now on Switch. It's like, I don't
Well,
know,
I mean,
just
the
funny.
reason I bring it up is because apparently it's one of the most impressive Switch's ports on Switch.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it just runs really well, and they put a lot of work into it. I mean, it's Platinum that I think Platinum didn't port it, but it's Platinum's game originally, but it's Virtuos ported it, and they're just like one of the best development houses that are porting games to Switch. And I mean, I'm not gonna get it because it's on Game Pass, so it's like, why would I? But it's nice to know that it's out there. Then I mean, that's all the news I have. There's coming soon. There's a couple games this month that are it's a pretty big month for Switch. I mean, we've already got Near Automata. We've gotten No Man's Sky, and then this week Pilot Wing 64 comes out. Did you see the trailer for that, Derek?
I did. I watched after you told me. It's so hilarious.
Yeah, I'm really they haven't really done a trailer for an N64 game yet. So it's kind of funny that they did this, right? With the voice and all that.
Yeah, this like the smooth voice. Yeah.
And the funny thing is the music they play in the background is like, that song's on one of my playlists because I love that song. It's like the smooth jazz of Pilot Wings.
Oh.
But the interesting thing with this game is that it's going to run at 60 frames per second. Because when it originally came out for the N64, it was unlocked frame rate, which was very rare on the N64. And apparently it just runs at a smooth 60 now. So a game that used to be choppy is now going to be smooth. And the other thing is this game, to my knowledge, has never been re-released. Like it didn't come out for the Virtual Console ever. So this is the first time this game is coming out again. And I mean, I don't know if you really remember the game very much, but I do. Because I remember that the N64, when it launched, it was only Mario 64 and Pilot Wing 64. So
I remember playing this game a little bit, but not like I remember the canon in some of the games, but I don't remember it too well.
yeah, like we rented it. We never bought it. But it was really cool for the time. Like when it first came out, it was really quite awesome to fly around 3D areas. And like any of these NSO N64 games, I look at the NSO as like pulling a game off the shelf to try it, to have like a nostalgia memory, not to like sit there and beat it. So I'm really looking forward to playing this again and like just playing something I haven't played in 20 years. You know, it's like you get that kind of nostalgia, right? Mm-hmm. Like I don't know if you get that. Like when I hear like the menu music of a game that I haven't heard in 20 years, like I am totally brought back to that place I was in when I first heard that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I know exactly what you're talking about.
that's what I love about this NSO expansion. Like I mean, like things like Excite Bike 64, which are coming out. Like I'm looking forward to trying that because I got into it, and it's apparently an amazing game. But it's the other factor is like replaying these kind of games, like just playing the first level of Star Fox 64, or playing a little bit of GoldenEye when that comes. Like I'm really just in it for the nostalgia. So I'm actually looking forward to that. That comes out in a couple days. And it's just another game for the collection. Mm-hmm. I guess not enough for you to get NSO.
Yeah, not the expansion pass. I mean, again, I'm just trying to watch my subscription spending, and it doesn't. None of those N64 games make me really want to get them. Except I would say the only ones that really are driving me is GoldenEye, but GoldenEye's coming out on the Game Pass, so it doesn't really. matter.
Exactly, and the one on Game Pass like is an up-resed 4K.
Yeah, and I think for me, the majority of the time I'd be playing GoldenEye would be single player, anyways. So.
Well, and just so you know, the online that's in the NSO version, it's not really online. Do you know what I mean? Like it is, but it's like all the games on NSO are online. Like you and I could play Mario Kart 64. We've talked about this.
You told me this, yeah.
So it's not really like a great matchmaking. It'd be like you and I both seeing each other's screens playing one-on-one. Like it's not like you and I getting into a matchmaking room with a bunch of other people in a lobby. Like none of that. And the interesting thing is, I actually, a lot of people are complaining about the GoldenEye release because they're like, why didn't you do more with this? And it's been heavily leaked that there's an Xbox Live arcade version of GoldenEye that was like a remaster with online that was shelved years ago. And I listened to a podcast with some guys who are in the gaming development world, and they were saying, a lot of people are mad that they think Nintendo's the reason that this GoldenEye release is so botched, if you will. Not botched, but just like not for such a big game. You'd think they'd do something. You know what I mean?
Half baked.
Like Perfect Dark on Xbox got a full like remastering with online play and with everything. Like, so it's like, why didn't you do that for GoldenEye? But the actual thought is that it's actually from MGM, and that they're the ones who are like, no, we don't want James Bond. We don't want to re-release this game because they think it's too violent. And actually, when GoldenEye first came out, there was a lot of controversy about the violence of it because if you think about it, like James Bond in movies maybe kills a couple bad guys who are like usually shooting at him first, but in GoldenEye you kill like in one
You mow them down.
in one like run through the campaign you probably mow down over 100 people. You blow them up.
Easily more than 100.
You can kill the good guys, and so it's like so violent. And apparently, like at the beginning, Miyamoto had a big problem with that. And what Rare did was at the very end of the game, they have a credits with all the characters who have died. And so they kind of pass it off as being like, yeah, it's like it's all a movie. Like the whole game is just a stage play / movie. It's not real. And so that was enough for him. But apparently I believe they're called the Broccoli family. Like their last name is Broccoli, and they own the rights to James Bond. Like they control James Bond, and they were never happy with GoldenEye because of how violent it was. And coming off the crest of Daniel Craig's James Bond, which we all know he kind of got sensitive at the end, and they're going to try to reinvigorate it again probably in a few years. Like they just might not want a super popular James GoldenEye game to come out again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just I don't know. I thought that was a really interesting backstory on James Bond and video games and why GoldenEye, they had to like really fight to get this kind of port to come out. Mm-hmm. It sounds like the NSO version will literally just be the GoldenEye 64 port, and the Xbox version will kind of be like Microsoft's emulation to make it a little bit better.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Yeah.
But yeah, same as you. I'll probably run through the single player once on easy, and then that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe play. I mean, the problem with the N64 version is that the controls won't really work super well on a Pro controller. So I know on Xbox they've said they've remapped the controls for dual analog, which also might kind of break the game too, right? Because we're so good at dual analog now. I don't know.
The game used to be way harder. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that's all gonna go. But anyways, so that's whatever. It's GoldenEye. But also coming in October for Switch is Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which I'm seeing lots of ads for. Mm-hmm. And I'm also seeing Bayonetta 3 comes out a week later. And also, what is it called? The Requiem, the game with all the
Plague Tale Requiem.
Plague Tale Requiem comes out in a week. I think it comes out on Friday.
I didn't know that. No, it next week. I didn't know that was on Switch though. I'm gonna get it on Game Pass, obviously, but
well, the Switch version is a cloud version. I'm gonna get on Game Pass too. But
did you even beat the first one?
No, I got a little bit into it, but it just kind of felt.
I'm just surprised you even want to play the second one, considering it's like a direct continuation of the story, and the story is like the biggest driving force of the game.
Maybe I will get into it. I guess when I played it, it just felt too linear and it just felt last gen. I don't know how to explain it. Like it was great. It felt polished and everything, but I didn't play it on PS4. I played it on. I never even opened my PS4 copy. I played it on Xbox Game Pass. And I never beat it. I got maybe an hour or two in, and I enjoyed it, but it just felt like, oh, we're rocking through this room, and then there's one way to beat this puzzle, and then you go to the next room, and the room, and even the outdoor areas are really just rooms. You know what I mean? So I just never really got a sense of the world being much. I don't know, but I've just this new one apparently is a big upgrade, and there's a lot
Yeah,
more open options.
I
And
don't.
stuff.
I don't think if you didn't like the first one enough to play the whole game, then I don't think you're gonna like the second one.
Well, it's free.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've got Bayonetta 3 pre-ordered, so that's pretty much my October game.
Do you have? Are you did digital?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, I'm all digital.
Are you gonna get? You're not gonna get Mario and Rabbids though.
I don't think so. I never beat the first one, and to be honest, like it's just not. I want it, but it's really just not my kind of game. And also, I just really don't like the rabbits. Like, I honestly like. There's the topic has come up so many times online and podcasts I've listened to. It's like this game would do so much better without the rabbits.
Yeah, but honestly, like it does make the game unique. It does put Ubisoft's kind of flair into it. I don't hate them. Some of the rabbits are pretty funny. Like there is. I find that the rabbit humor in these games way better than the rabbit humor in their own games, or even like Minions. You know, like the Minions picks or DreamWorks or whatever they are.
Yeah.
Like I find the rabbits in Mario and Rabbids actually, like there is humor there that I actually find enjoyable. I find that the biggest problem I have with them is like the model itself of a rabbit looks stupid.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, it just I think the rabbits to me it makes it feel like Mario and whatever friends they got licensing for are like included in the Rabbids world, and it doesn't feel like it's just the Rabbids are in Mario's world. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It just feels like it's kind of hampered back on the Mario references and the types of Mario stages they can go to. And the first one felt like you have your pretty generic sand, grass, ice kind of levels, but I guess I just want more callbacks to Mario. Like I want the bosses to be Bowser's kids, and I want to see Kamek. And
I know, but this isn't a Mario game. Like you got to go into expectation that like you're not ever gonna get that. Like that's not this game. Like
Well, I would like it more if it did, and I think it would sell like literally twice as much.
But it's like playing Super Mario RPG and being like, oh man, I wish they had all these other things for Mario in it.
But Mario RPG didn't seem to be hampered back. Like you do go to the Mushroom Kingdom, and you do go to Yoshi's Island, and like sure it has all these other things, but it did feel like it had a lot of that Nintendo in it. Like there's even references to like Samus and Link in there. And you know what I mean? So
yeah, I know what you're saying. I don't find it that big of an issue for these games. Like, you just got to take it as it is Mario in the Rabbit world, and that's okay because it's still a really good game.
Yeah, true. And you know what? I predicted this for a long time. I think Mario Sparks of Rabbids X Rabbids Sparks of Hope is actually going to be like really well critically received.
I think it's gonna be like high 8s.
Yeah, if not, maybe like a lot of 9s. Because the previews that have come out have been very glowing.
And the first one reviewed really well. The first one, I don't know what it is, like 82 or 83 or something. Like, and this one looks better in 85. Like, this one looks better in all the areas that the other one was lacking. It just looks better and cleaner and looks great.
Like, I can really see this. I mean, not for me personally, but I can really see this surprising people and ending up on Game of the Year lists.
For sure. I think for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, I really wonder at this point, like, between Mario and Rabbids and Bayonetta 3, what will be seen as the premier Switch game this holiday? I mean, Pokemon sales-wise, yes, we know. But when it comes to, like, the actual high quality for gamers, the one that gamers are talking about on message boards and getting excited about, it's between these two.
I think Bayonetta 3 will have more hype behind it online in between gamers. But I think for, like, the age of 7 to 15, Mario and Rabbids going to be bigger. Yeah, but I also wonder if a lot of those people between 7 and 15, like, they just get what they get on their birthday. Like, they don't compartmentalize, like, what quarter what games come out. You know what I mean? Like gamers do. So I guess, I don't know. That I don't understand that point. Like, it's going to sell well for 7 to 15-year-olds, and I think it might even sell better than Bayonetta 3 probably. But I think Bayonetta 3 will just be high, like when you go into like the enthusiast forums, it'll be higher regarded probably.
Yeah, I guess my what it boils down to is which one do you think will review higher?
I think Bayonetta 3 will review higher.
Yeah,
Because again, Bayonetta 3, like the people that review, they're not 12-year-olds. Like they're 30-year-olds that have, 25 years of gaming experience, and they are enthusiasts.
yeah. I mean, I think so too. Even though on our when we predicted our scores like a year ago, I actually think I went too low on Bayonetta 3. We both guessed 85.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way for me. I don't know.
It's hard
I
to
can
say.
see Bayonetta 3. We barely saw anything, right? So Bayonetta 3 could be a totally wah. But from what we've seen in the past months, like the past couple months, it looks like it's going to be a 90 kind of game.
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance that it'll be below 80. Unless
No,
it's like
me neither.
3 hours long.
I just didn't have a lot of faith in Platinum when we were making these. Like Platinum has kind of had a lot of quite a few duds the past year. So and we hadn't seen anything. We're kind of like, oh, we haven't seen it for a couple of years. Who knows what's going on? But now that we've seen it, I think it's gonna be quite good.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I can see both surprising and landing on a 90 or higher on Metacritic.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, I think with the Switch's graphics and the frame rates, we'll see that really seems to be holding things back critically. But Bayonetta 2 had over a 90 on Metacritic.
Yeah, I think Bayonetta 3 has a good chance of beating a 90.
Yeah. It's interesting, actually. I don't know if you knew this, but someone who worked at Nintendo for 20 years is now the head of Platinum. Like, he left Nintendo on good terms and is now working at Platinum. Yeah, and they had an interview recently. It was a headline where they were saying we see a very strong future with Nintendo. Like, Nintendo's a big part of our future, they said. And so all the speculation kind of came, like, oh, maybe they're making a game, maybe they're already working on a Switch 2 game, or Bayonetta 4, or Astral Train 2. But I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I think that Platinum, I mean, with what happened to Babylon's Fall, it seems like the only developer they've really had success with is Nintendo. Publisher, sorry.
I mean, with Square Enix, they did okay on Nier Automata.
True, but they also, the first Nier didn't do so well, and Babylon's Fall didn't do so well. So it's like they haven't actually had a single critical flop on Nintendo yet.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if I count Star Fox Zero because they were really just an assist team. But like, and even something like Wonderful 101 that bombed still got good reviews and is still a decent game, and it's
like a cult classic.
Totally. So I'm always excited about Platinum games. I really hope Bayonetta 3 kind of like puts them back in the grace. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They need it. Like they don't just need like an 85, 83 on Metacritic. Oh, it's pretty good follow-up, whatever. It needs to be like, this is amazing. Really put them back in the limelight. I really hope.
Yeah.
The last bit of news here is the Super Mario Bros. Trailer came out the other day. You saw it?
Yes, yeah.
Did you watch it live?
I didn't watch it live. I watched it like maybe an hour later.
Did you see like the stuff that like the announcements made by the people beforehand, or did you skip that?
No, I didn't know there were announcements beforehand.
Yeah, they showed off new Zelda. So like before the trailer, they had like Miyamoto speak, and then they had the president of Illumination speak, and then they had Chris Pratt speak, and then they had Jack Black speak, and then they showed the trailer.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Oh, I think I saw some of the footage of Jack Black after the trailer was shown.
Yeah, he did some voice stuff at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But man, like Chris Pratt's video speech was so annoying. Like, I'm so obnoxious and annoying. It's like he had never. He just sounded like he was phoning it in. But anyways,
like in the trailer or in the speech beforehand.
In the speech beforehand, it's just it's cringy. And it wasn't funny at all. And it was like he was like trying to be funny in a weird way, but it wasn't. It's just bad. But anyways, Derek, what did you think of the trailer itself?
I liked it. I think the animation is quite awesome. I was pleasantly surprised by most of the voice actors. I was really hesitant about some of them, but Jack Black I think did really well. Keenan, I can't remember his last name.
Keenan Peele,
yeah. Like I think he did a great job as Toad. even the one small voice sound from Charlie Day like sounds like it's gonna be good. I mean, I'm gonna go back to, I know we're kind of ragging on Chris Pratt, but like his Mario is garbage. Like I can't. He's the only character where I was like, all you hear is Chris Pratt. You don't hear any Mario in there. It's just like pure Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that even the humor is on point so far. Like the little penguins are like, you know, throwing snowballs. I thought that was hilarious. And again, the animation's super good. And yeah, I'm actually really excited to see this.
Yeah, say I mean almost down the line the same. It's funny because I don't see anyone who really likes Chris Pratt's voice in this, and it's just I don't know. It's just such a bad choice. Like in it,
And the fact that he hyped himself up so hard to the public, like his tweet about like it's gonna be something you've never heard before, blah 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 blah. It's like, I don't know.
And just the way the other characters and even like Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, like I'm all for that. So it's just so weird. All the voice casts seem so perfect and inspired, and then you just have this one like totally sore thumb in there, and it's the main.
And he's
character.
the lead.
It's the lead. It truly was awful. Like I mean to the point where I was almost I listened to the they had like someone released like all the voices of Mario in all the regions because they had like an Italian actor play, like there's an Italian dub.
Yeah, way better.
Way better. The French dub's way better. German, I don't know, but I mean like I'm almost like my friend and I were Thaddeus, you know him.
Yeah.
We're like, well maybe we'll just go see the French version and get subtitles because then we won't be like bothered the whole time. You know what I mean?
The only thing for me though is like then I'm missing out on all the actors that I do think are doing a good job.
Yeah, true. It's a hard one, right? And you know, as a side, I don't like Chris Pratt at all. Like I don't want to.
I absolutely hate him in everything he's in.
Yeah,
the only time I enjoyed him was at the beginning in Parks and Rec. Like he's can be funny.
I totally agree. Like he's great as a supporting actor in Parks and Rec, and even the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't love that movie. I don't know why people love it so much, but I thought it was good enough. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was fine. Like he's playing Andy as Star-Lord. It's the same character. Yeah. But like this is now there's been what 10, 15 years since then. Well, not that much. Maybe 10 years. Like can you tell me one thing he's done? Like
movies wise?
No, like tell me one thing that's good movie wise, content wise, TV show, whatever. That he's made that's good. Like I literally don't know. Like sure, he's been in every Marvel spin-off with the Guardians of the Galaxy cast, but like what else has he done a single good movie?
Yeah, he's in crappy blockbuster movies that are crappy, but they sell a lot of money.
But do they?
I think Jurassic World did pretty well.
But like yeah. So that I expected you to say that he's in the Jurassic World trilogy, a terrible trilogy. That has two movies that are I honestly.
But are you talking about critically? Again, we're talking about movies. Let's jump off this quick. But like critically, like every movie he's in is trash. But blockbuster wise, he's in these big movies and his name is famous and people want him in their movies because they think it sells more movies, so it sells more tickets. Even like every single time he's in a movie, he is a terrible actor. He does the same character in every single movie. From Jurassic Park to Tomorrow War, or what? Not Tomorrow War.
Tomorrow War, right? Tomorrow
War. Okay, yeah. And every time he does the same exact character, every single movie, and I think he's a terrible actor, and I just don't think he should get the recognition that he does. But again, he's not in good movies; he's just in movies that sell well.
Yeah, but I mean, it begs the question of. Is he the reason those movies sell well, or is he just lucky enough to have been in Marvel and been in Jurassic Park? Because the movie Passengers he's in didn't do that well. Like his movies that aren't Jurassic Park and Marvel have not done that well.
He's a name that every kid knows, and every kid knows his face. So anytime there's a kid kind of aged appropriate movie, he's the face that people want.
Yeah, I guess I just wonder if. Like, I just don't know anyone that likes him, so I'm just wondering if there's a I know what you mean. Like it's like he's famous, so let's put a famous person in our movie to make it seem more big and famous. But like
That's literally the reason.
but I just wonder, like I really think if you like took him out of Jurassic Park, it would still do well, and it would probably only benefit from him not being in it. You know what I mean? Like,
I know, but again, we're not the producers with billions of dollars.
anyways, yeah, like we just had to get the salt about Chris Pratt. I mean, he's also a terrible person in real life. He's a homophobe.
Yeah.
He's all these things.
Yeah.
So screw Chris Pratt. Anyways, yeah, are you gonna see Super Mario Bros. In theaters?
I could go either way. Like I would if my friends wanted to go see it and be kind of like whatever, let's go do it. But I'd also be okay just waiting a couple months and watching it online.
Yeah, I'm a bit torn on it. I think, yeah, it depends on where I'm at when the movie comes out.
I'm more inclined to see Sonic 3 in theaters whenever that does come because Sonic 2 was awesome. I really liked the Sonic movies.
Oh, I liked the first Sonic movie, and I thought Sonic 2 was one of the most awful movies I've ever seen.
Oh, I liked Sonic 2 a lot as well.
I mean, to me, you take out Jim Carrey, and I don't know why I'm watching this movie. Like, no
He's in
part
the
of
movie.
it. I know, but I mean, like, he's the only good part of the movie. Like, the first one
yeah.
at least had, like, oh, it's cool, James Marsden and Sonic on an adventure, and it was, like, introducing us to it all, but, like, Tails did nothing for me, Knuckles did nothing for me. That dance sequence made me cringe so hard.
Yeah.
I don't know, I actually thought Sonic 2 was, like, really, really bad. So, no, I will not see Sonic 3.
Okay.
What I did like was Detective Pikachu. Now, that's a good movie.
They're making a sequel.
Are they actually?
Yeah, there's some confirmation of like there's something I saw means that it's coming.
Did you ever watch the first one though?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it.
I liked it. I liked it.
Obviously, Ryan Reynolds, another cast him because he's famous type of guy instead of cast the right person. Which
Yeah, it's again he's like one of those voices where like you can't not hear him, right? Like I feel like for some voice actors you almost just need to not do someone famous or super famous voice because then you just hear them in everything,
I totally agree. To be honest, I see like zero appeal. Like I don't go to these movies to be like that actor's playing this person. Like that is nothing for me.
It takes me out of the movie.
Same here. It takes me out of the movie.
I just watched Lightyear, so I'll talk about that. Like Chris Evans in Lightyear, I don't find his voice recognizable enough where I'm like, oh, this is Chris Evans. Like I'm not hearing his voice all the time.
Same.
But Chris Pratt, or even we'll see how Seth Rogen goes, or Ryan Reynolds, like their voices are so distinct that it's hard to take yourself out of that. That's why, like, if you watch the movie, like I don't know if you've seen the movie Sing or Sing 2.
No.
It's like they're the animated movies like where there's like a music concert and like all these animals, and they do have some somewhat famous names there, but they're not so famous that you like can instantly recognize who it is. You just know like, oh, I've heard this voice before, but I'm into the film. Where like I will never ever in my whole life be able to watch that Mario movie and not recognize Chris Pratt.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, to give someone like Seth Rogen some credit, like that's just in my opinion, a good casting for DK.
Me too. Like same with Jack Black. Like their voices are
Yeah.
distinct, and I know it's them, but they're the perfect cast for them.
And they're what you call talented actors.
Yeah.
I cannot say the same about Ryan Reynolds and what's his name, Chris Pratt. Like they always play the same person, and at least Ryan Reynolds, like he seems likable enough. Like I'm like, oh yeah, it's another Ryan Reynolds playing Ryan Reynolds movie. Like he literally
and he picks movies that like, or he like creates the movies that he's in.
In a way, yeah. It's like it's like Free Guys is like this is a Ryan Reynolds machine. You know what I mean? Like it's him.
Yeah.
And Deadpool's like he kind of created that trilogy. But yeah, no, Chris Pratt, no, you can just go away.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyways, so yeah, I don't know if I'll see it, but let's move on to what we've been playing recently because we've had a whole month where we haven't talked about what we've been playing.
Okay.
I have 4 games on my list.
Okay, you go first because I gotta type mine up and think about it.
Okay, so the first game is Splatoon 3. So let me talk about that for another hour.
Okay.
No, so the next game I've been playing is actually I booted up Super Mario Bros. 2. Or sorry, Super Mario Maker 2.
Oh,
Because that
okay.
new... you must have heard about this guy spent like 7 years of his life creating the Mario Brothers 5.
Oh yeah, I thought it was a ridiculous post, but yeah, keep going.
But it's like, I mean, the thing is like, so the guy started making the levels back on the Wii U version, right? So that's why it's taken 7 years. And when the world aspect, like the thing with Mario Maker 2 is when the only, I mean, to be honest, they released that kind of like idea where you can make worlds. And I never even played it. I'm like, oh, that's really cool, but it's like it felt too late. You know what I mean? I was kind of over that game by that point. So this guy, I guess, like after that DLC was announced, he like painstakingly went back and recreated all of his best ones from Wii U because he was working on this. He started working on an actual like he wanted to make a full Mario game out of levels, and so he like painstakingly recreated them in Super Mario Maker 2. And then, but the cool thing is it's like a complete package now, right? Like it really is. Like you can find the code for his thing, go to it, and it's like one full game.
Yeah, it's like a world, yeah, like multiple worlds.
It's like
yeah.
7 worlds, and so I only played a bit of the first world. I didn't really dive into it, and it's the best thing about it. I gotta say is that it's not like it's not trolling you. Do you know what I mean? It's really meant to be a sincere level. And because it's the first level of the game, but he does it so well where it's like on one hand, the first level of the game it's easy, but it's not so bare bones easy that you'd actually expect Nintendo to make. Like he's still making it for someone who knows how to play Mario. You know what I mean? So it's not to say that it's hard, but it's just that like there's extra little secrets and like, it's extra little bit of this and a little bit of that, which makes it interesting. And I don't know if I'm going to beat all of it. Because at the end of the day, it does feel weird to be like, oh, it's a new Mario game, but it doesn't actually have anything new in it. It's like a remix. It's almost like a Master Quest or a Lost Levels, like a Redux. But the effort it's really cool. And yeah, I don't know. Booting up Super Mario Maker 2 too it's also like, wow, this was a really cool game. Like they really it's a really awesome game. I don't know why I didn't play more of it,
Yeah, me too. I feel like I didn't put as much time into it as it probably deserves. I might go back to it too and try those levels as well.
Yeah, I remember we both got into it. We both made 2 or 3 levels for each other and then played some levels, but I really think it was kind of the lack of something to do almost, like it's like, okay, well how long am I going to sit here and play random people's levels hoping to find good ones,
Yeah, and I also don't love, like I really like 2D Mario, but I don't love it enough where I can play like 500 levels,
Same. And I think the major thing too is with Mario is like when you play a Mario game, like to me, one of the best things of it is the new factor and the innovation factor. And that's something that like, like something like Mario Galaxy or 64 or even Sunshine or Odyssey or 3D World, like they don't outstay their welcome really. Like they're just enough game. Like I can beat Galaxy in 10, 15 hours and like I don't need to play it for a long time. So it's not like this. It's not like a Minecraft kind of game where it's like, oh, I need this forever ton of Mario. But still, it's neat to see because this guy, it's clearly the best. I would say the Super Mario Bros. 5 is the peak of Mario Maker 2, from what I played.
Okay.
So
Sweet.
Worth it, yeah. And nice. I have 2 other games, but I'll let you go.
Okay, so Splatoon 3, obviously. I've been playing a bit of. I can't remember if I've already talked about this on this podcast before, but I've been playing a bit of NHL 2022.
No, you haven't talked about it.
Okay, so yeah, I've been playing a bit of NHL 2022 with my buddy. He has I'm the one who convinced him to get an Xbox and get Game Pass.
Nice.
But he's the kind of gamer that really only plays FIFA and NHL and maybe the occasional Call of Duty or like gun game. But he doesn't play. He might put like 2 hours of video games a week at most.
Did he play? Did he get a Series X or S?
Series X. He did the same deal I did where you trade in your PS4 because he and I bought PS4s together. He's the one who actually got mine.
Oh, okay.
So I told him, I was like, oh, like you should trade in your PS4 and get $300 off your Xbox Series X or whatever. So he did it. And so since I was sick this past week and kind of hanging at home, so I just was seeing what he was up to. And we played it, maybe 3 different nights of NHL 2022. And we played like, 7 games each night. We had a freaking blast.
Online, all online?
All online. And it's the first game, I'm not into sports games that much, so it's kind of like the first real sports game I've ever played. And it's a well-made game. Like, it's exactly what you expect for, an iteration of the NHL series. But it's nice because we're both, it's not like I've been playing, NHL games for years or he has. And, we're both putting the same amount of time into it. So we're kind of the exact same level and getting better at the same kind of rate. So our games aren't like blowouts where it's like 12-0. It's kind of like, it's like 2-3 and it's in the final period and it's like, there's a power play and the game's really freaking intense. So it's, I've been enjoying that game a lot. So yeah, that's kind of a surprise, but,
it's not on Game Pass though, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So is this the latest NHL game?
So this is 2022, but 2023 I think has come out or is about to come out, and that won't be free on Game Pass for another like 6 to 8 months.
Okay, I wonder if I should download it.
I'd love to play with you, Pete. It's super fun.
And when you play against him, you only play against him. Like you don't join with him ever, do you?
There is a way to do that. I think we just haven't bothered because we just want to play we just want to be on mics and just chirp each other and just play and stick around.
Okay, cool. You're not doing like a tourney or anything.
No. But yeah, it's super fun, and
cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping to play more with him. Yeah. You want to
go? Sure. So I downloaded Deathloop, which came to Xbox Game Pass.
Oh, so you have been playing this? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been consistently playing it. To be honest, the day it came out, I downloaded it. I probably played for about 4-ish hours. I did a couple loops. Okay. And I'm kind of mixed on it. Like, there's times where I'm playing it, I'm like, wow, this game is really awesome. Like, I'm really into this. And there's other times where I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And I'm, like, back in the same spot. And so I guess I was hoping you'd give me shine some light on this. Like, for one, I like the game. The gunplay feels fun and stuff, but I feel like I can, like, take on everybody, even early in the game. Like, I don't know if I just haven't got to later. Like, I've explored maybe 3 or 4 environments. Like there's a city, there's a plant in an Arctic area, but it feels like the enemies are too easy or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't need to play stealthy at all, and I can wreck everybody. And usually I can just like cause a distraction, run to a corridor, and just wait for them to come to me, and I mow them down.
Yeah, so like the game is not hard, and that was one of the biggest problems I had with it just being boring after a while. Like once you get kind of like your first good gun or a few power-ups or perks for the guns, like you can just do exactly what you said to mow it down. So that's where I found it got boring. So that's why I don't love the game. To keep it kind of fresh and fun, what I would recommend is, part of the fun of that game or even the Dishonored games is kind of the creativity of how you can kill people. So like you don't like if you're just playing like a FPS where like, I can hide around the corner and just wait for them to come and kill like whatever. But, it gets cool when you can, like, throw someone up and then you can teleport to them and shoot them in the head and then teleport back down and have someone else and hide the body and chop off their head and kind of get a flow going. Like, getting into that flow state is kind of nice in that game because you really do feel like, oh, man, I got a rhythm where I can just... I don't have to stop or hide. I'm just pacing, like, straight through what I have to do.
Superhero-esque, yeah.
Yeah, but I agree. Like, my biggest problem was it became so easy so quickly that it got really boring, especially since you're doing the same 4 levels and the same kind of tasks in those 4 levels. As far as what to do, just follow the clues. Like, when you can follow a certain clue or whatever in the like the mission select.
Yeah.
Just do those, and eventually it'll kind of all piece together. Yeah, like, and the other thing, I mean, I don't know how many times you've been invaded by a human player.
Just one time when I took him out.
Yeah, like, when you get invaded is, like, it's such a difficulty spike that it almost is a little ridiculous because, like, again, you're mowing down the enemies and all of a sudden you get invaded. And, like, oftentimes they will invade you and they have a crazy, disgusting loadout. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the beginning part of the game, like, they'll just crush you. Like, it'll absolutely destroy you. So you're kind of like, oh, well, there goes my whole frickin' run. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, like, a game's fun, but, I don't love the game because it was repetitive and boring.
Yeah, and I mean, I really hate how the menus, I'm moving a reticule around. Like, what
that's common in so many games now.
But I've seen a big backlash against it, and games don't do it as much anymore. Like, you should be able to use the D-pad. Like, I find it heinously annoying.
I have like 5 games I'm playing or have played in the past 3 months that do exactly that. So I don't know.
I mean, it's a
I'm so used to
terrible,
it.
terrible trend.
I agree. I agree.
If there's gyro, I can tolerate it, but there's no gyro on Xbox, so I can't even play with gyro that they added to the PS5 version. And the other thing, I really I'm torn on it. Like I think the level design seems really good. Like it's like you can kind of go lots of directions, and then you can go on top of buildings, in buildings. I really dig that. But I guess it's like I know I can just follow the missions because I've been doing that, but I don't feel like I'm like really intrinsically appreciating or taking in this whole like, oh, you have 3 days to complete the loop. Like I don't know if it's the way it conveyed it to me or if I'm just dumb, but I'm like not
One day, but yeah.
I'm not connecting it all in my head to be like, oh, I have 3. It's not like Majora's Mask where I'm like, okay, I need to think about what happens when. It just doesn't seem like it's
It feels very like they're levels. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's weird. It's like there's levels. I have a waypoint, but I'm like having to redo things, and I'm killing some bosses, but it doesn't matter. I got to kill them the next time. And beyond all that, like the overall story and art design, and like I just don't like it. Like I cringe at it. It's just got this kind of weird like we're trying to be cool vibe that I don't like. It just feels like the style and art design and like this kind of like quasi, grindhouse movie 1970s funk thing going on. Like it doesn't work with
Yeah.
like sci-fi time travel, and
I mean,
it just doesn't come together at all for me. Like the gunplay's fun, but
it's my least favorite arcane game. Like I enjoyed it. I give it like maybe a 7 or a 7.5 at most. Because there are things that are really fun about it. Again, for you, I don't know if you've tried being the invader. That can get, if you get in, again, you play a few of it, it can get really fun just to crush people's dreams. So I don't know. I found the game pretty fun. I also am someone that I looked up, because there are challenges and trophies or whatever. Like some of those were really fun to get because some of them were like, oh, like take out this boss, but you can't use any powers. So it's like, oh, like to get into that person to kill them was like, I don't know. Like, again, there's parts that I enjoyed, but overall, it's my least favorite arcane game.
And there is like the perfect run, right? Like the idea is you have to kill all the bosses in one loop, right?
Yeah. So all the clues lead to that. But the thing is like that people found annoying is like there's only one exact way to do it. And once you've like got to the end of the game and know the path, like it's really straightforward how to do.
It's just where you go first, and it's the codes you get, right? Knowing all the
It's
codes.
just like, yeah, the codes help, but it's more like, oh, like you killed this guy first in this area in the morning, and then these 2 are here in the afternoon, and these 3 are here in the evening, and at nighttime these 3 are like, as long as you know where they are, it's not like there's other ways of doing it. It's not like, oh, I can trick this guy to go here and do a different path. It's like, oh, it's these exact 4 setup.
Yeah, I think that maybe if the game was actually just one open world versus segmented into stages, it wouldn't confuse me so much with regards to that. Because it's like, I'm just a little bit lost of like time changes as I load the next stage. Like it doesn't connect in my brain. I don't know. Like I just would rather it be one world with a time cycle. And it seems like I'm loading a stage, the time cycle freezes in that time cycle until I move somewhere else. Like, it just feels so weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't, whatever. I'm still really excited for Redfall. Because
Me too, I'm excited to play that with you.
I think that the gunplay obviously feels, like the controls feel great. Like Deathloop feels good to play. I know a lot of people complained about it, but I thought it felt great. But I really think the open world nature of Redfall is going to make it a lot more fun. Just let us just go. You know what I mean? Let us just go and explore and figure it out at our own pace. But anyways, yeah. What else have you been playing?
Yeah. So there's 3 other games. 2 of them I'll just talk about briefly, and then there's one I've been playing a fair bit. So while I was sick and I was waiting for some games to install, I got back into Slay the Spire a bit, that card game. Mm-hmm. Really fun game. I've already talked about it before on this podcast. I won't go into it. Just really fun. I'd recommend it if you're into card games, listeners. And then, so I was looking for a new game to play. Again, while I was at home sick, so I installed Cyberpunk 2077. And
For Xbox,
because I know nope, for I have it on the PS5.
Okay. You bought it?
So I got it day one, and then when I got it,
Okay,
so
I thought you weren't going to buy it. I thought you weren't going to buy it.
So I know, but I had it on such a discount, and then I forgot to cancel it, and it showed it was like $40, and I was like, well, I might as well just keep it at this point. So
Okay, so now you're playing with all the new upgrades.
So yeah, so I waited, and I haven't touched it at all until like this past week. So now I know there's a whole bunch of good patches and stuff and whatever. And apparently, it's actually in a pretty good state. Mm-hmm. So I've started it up. I made my character and got to like the first hour into the story and kind of started the tutorial stuff. I haven't played it since then. So, but I mean, it's pretty interesting so far, and I'm enjoying it. It looks like there's a lot of depth, and it looks like the story is actually pretty cool, and just the world is there. So I am excited to play that more this month. But I haven't played that much. But last game,
it's not amazing, is it? Because the concept of it was so amazing when they were announced. I've never played it, by the way.
So I'm only an hour in, so I can't tell you that much. All people have told me is it's a really good game now, but still go in with the expectations of it's not what it was advertised as. So I don't even remember what it was advertised, honestly. I know it's supposed to be like this insanely huge open world with all this stuff you could do. I'm just going to play it as what it is and just kind of see how much I like it.
But is it open in the sense that you can just go anywhere, anytime, and follow any mission quest line you want?
I honestly have no idea. It looks like it probably will get to that, but I'm in the first hour. Like I played nothing. So I was at a bar and I talked to someone and they put me in a car, and then I haven't left the car yet.
Okay.
And then the game that I've been playing the past few days, for the first few days trying to play and now actually playing, is Overwatch 2.
So what's the controversy around this? People couldn't get into it for the first 24 hours?
So yeah, the first 4 days you couldn't get in at all. It was like it would queue you forever to like log in. And then if you ever got in or were lucky enough to get in, all of your progress from the first game didn't carry over. So like you didn't have any of your skins, all the heroes were locked, like all this kind of crap. And now that they've kind of patched that out and stuff, the biggest issue that I have, which is like the battle pass and the monetization of this game is so greedy and scuzzy that I feel like there's no reason to play. Like there's no incentive for me to play at all. Like I didn't love loot boxes either, but at least when I was playing Overwatch 1, it felt like, I've leveled up. Like there's something I'm going to get out of this. Where this game is literally, I've played for like maybe 8 hours this past week, and I feel like I've gained nothing except for like the actual playing of it. So it's a little bit kind of like, am I going to really want to play this after, another week, or am I kind of just done with this?
So if you have Overwatch 1 and you load Overwatch 2, you get all the characters.
So you get Overwatch 1 is all the characters are in it, but Overwatch 1 doesn't exist anymore. You can't play Overwatch 1 anymore.
So my disc is no good. My PS4 disc is no good.
Useless. GameStop was told to destroy all their Overwatch 1 discs.
Wow.
But all the characters, if you've played Overwatch 1 before, when you load up Overwatch 2 and merge your account to the new game, you get your old level back, you get all your skins back, and all the heroes are unlocked because you played the game. Mm-hmm. But if you're playing Overwatch 2 for the first time, you have to play like 100 games to unlock the heroes over time.
Okay, that's not bad.
So when I first started the game, it's like, I only have 6 heroes because I was waiting for my account to merge. So I had to wait a couple days, and finally it's good. But like, just everything about the monetization is just so atrocious. It's like it's like you get 50 coins a week if you do all these challenges, and skins now are like 3,000 coins. So you have to play for like 50 weeks straight doing all the weekly challenges to buy one skin, or you could buy it for $39 Canadian or something ludicrous. Like that's the only way to get it. Even if you bought the battle pass, which again is another $35, it doesn't get you those skins. It doesn't even get you that many coins. Like it doesn't. There's no way to like unlock things except for expending egregious amounts of money. Like where the other game,
cosmetic. Like, all the things you get extra are cosmetic, right?
Yeah, until new heroes come out, where eventually people with battle passes get the heroes first. But I just find it ridiculous that, I know there are other games that do similar to this, but there are also games that like, as long as you're playing enough, you can unlock things yourself. You can get the currency yourself. Where this game, you just cannot get the currency. Like there's just no way to get something that you want. Like there's no unlockable, there's no currency to build. Like you're just playing, and it's like I have, like I've been again playing for like 10 hours, and I have 0 currency. It's like, so I can, and like you need 3,000 to buy a skin.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
anyways, it's a fun game. I'm enjoying the actual playing of it. Like it is really fun. I'll probably keep it on my system and play over the next 6 months, but only pick it up, and I'm not gonna spend $1 on it.
I wonder if they'll be able to fix that, and if they will.
I don't think they will fix it, and I think this game will not have the longevity that they want, because I think the Battle Pass, like people are comparing to Halo Infinite's Battle Pass, which is also terrible. It's like the Battle Pass is so bad that I think it's going to ruin the player base from wanting to play.
And so I'm ignorant about this. A Battle Pass only lasts for like 3 months, right?
Yeah, it depends on the game, but it's like a season of the game.
And a Battle Pass basically means that you're going to get some upgrades that other people won't get.
Yeah, so basically it works like, so at least in Overwatch 2, so there's 80 levels, let's say. So as you play and do challenges, you'll get XP and unlock levels. And if you have the Battle Pass, every level will give you a skin or an icon or a spray or a dance emote, something like that. Where if you don't have the Battle Pass, or currency, where if you don't have the Battle Pass, it's like not every 1 level, it's every like 4 levels, you'll get the shitty spray. And you'll only get the shitty stuff, and it's every 4 levels. So it's like, I'm at level 12 right now, and I have 1 spray and like 1 icon, and that's it. And even if you had the Battle Pass, you'd still have like nothing major. But again, like if you want to buy one of the cool looking skins, there's no way to get the cool looking skin or build towards that unless you're spending 50 weeks grinding the weekly challenges, or you're dropping $30 for 1 skin.
And it's $30 per season.
The Battle Pass, I think, is like, it's 20, or it's something like that, like $22.
So once I've done 3 seasons, I've paid more than the cost of a game.
Like there are, like, again, you can build some of that currency up to cover, like if you are playing weekly, if the season's, let's say 12 to 16 weeks, you can gain 800 coins, let's say, in that amount of time, and that covers some of the Battle Pass cost. Like they're like
I hate
does that make sense?
I hate the whole concept of play or pay. I don't see how it is ever going to be a good thing. Ever. I mean, I remember
that's what it is right now. Like that's what most games are.
I know. I mean, and I get like even something like Fortnite, which is probably like, the real pusher of this kind of movement towards free to play. Like the game is fun enough without paying for anything.
Same with Overwatch 2, that's what I'm saying. But it's just like there's no incentive. Like at least with Fortnite, I mean, don't quote me because I'm not 100% sure. But I'm pretty sure even that game, if you played, you could get enough of the currency to buy the Battle Pass before it went away. So if you're playing, you can actually get the entire Battle Pass and all the Battle Pass content by just playing. So it costs you $0. Where this game, you literally can't get anything unless you pay money.
It's weird because on one hand, I understand why these measures have to be taken to justify it being free for everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Because they need to make all their money back, and then some. But on the other hand, it just seems incredibly predatory to tell someone who maybe has an addiction issue, someone who has a gambling problem, to a child, to someone who's 9 years old. You can either play so much to get this, or you can pay to get this. And if they're paying, they're going to end up paying either way more than the game would have ever been worth, or they're going to end up playing to get all those things way more than is a healthy, normal level. Like it just seems like it's bad for everyone except for the publisher.
Yeah,
it's
awful.
It ropes people in because it's like, oh my god, it's Spider-Man costume in the Battle Pass. Oh my god, I got to spend $30 this month, or I got to play a whole bunch, and you're already playing because it's free and your friends are playing. It just feels like the most predatory. It feels predatory, and it feels like something that's come from the trash predatory mobile game world and being carried into console world. And I really hope that we still get games like Call of Duty and Splatoon and Mario Kart that stay the hell away from all this.
You don't think Call of Duty does this? This is
Call of Duty does, but I know for a fact that if you pay $79.99 for Call of Duty, you get a lot of content.
Yeah, and exactly, you can play the whole game and just like, and again, my biggest issue is if I buy Call of Duty in 2 weeks, right? Like when I'm playing, I'll unlock more guns, I'll unlock certain things, some perks, whatever. Like I'm progressing. Where there is zero, and I'm not just saying that, there is zero progression for Overwatch 2 unless you spend money.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
and there's been a
like
lot of
seasonal
problems with
money.
that. Like, Gran Turismo 7 got flack for that, and Mortal Kombat 11 got flack for that. Remember that Conquest mode in Mortal Kombat 7, which was like,
Oh yeah,
you had to pay a disgusting amount of hours. It's literally a scam. Like,
yeah. In Battlefront, I remember Battlefront 2 was bad on that too.
yeah. I mean, I know some games have patched and tweaked and made it better, but some games haven't.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna keep playing because it's fun, and eventually the PVE will come out, like not the multiplayer, but yeah, it's so egregious that it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and it kind of like dampens my desire to even keep going. 'Cause it's like I really feel like there's no outside of the actual fun of the game, there's no incentive to keep playing the same game.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of my problem with the first Overwatch, and I mean but I don't care about cosmetics that much.
Like imagine playing, like, best way I can describe it is imagine playing Splatoon 3 where there is no shoes, there is no guns, there is no clothing, there is no items, there is no XP unless you pay ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah, and even Splatoon 3 the way it is, if they did introduce some sort of battle pass, I don't think I could justify it. I don't think I could justify spending $30 to get some stuff like that.
Me too, yeah.
And I'm someone who would spend an appropriate amount of money on DLC. Like I spent $5.99 per character in Smash for a character, some music, and a stage.
And like I still spend money on games. Like it's not like I'm trying to, I would rather have Overwatch 2 been a full $80 game and just been full of content and like just give me like let me progress to all the stuff and whatever. Like I don't want to pay this $35 every 16 weeks. Like that's just
or is
disgusting.
there somewhere in the middle? Make the game come out for $30 and have a much fairer tactics on these upgrades.
Yeah, but I don't like that. I really don't like being nickeled and dimed. Like I'm either buying the game or I'm playing a game and I'm not going to spend anything.
And I 100% agree. And honestly, like I hate to keep going back to Splatoon 3, but like there's something nice about playing that game where I'm like, wow, like I can just play Salmon Run to get a ticket. And I can play single player to get tickets to use in turf battle. Like I don't need to buy
Spend
tickets.
$2.99. Yeah.
And you're not trying to buy. And the moment I see that menu that's like spend money on more here, I'm like rubbed the wrong way because it's not really costing the developer that much to do. I'd much rather just pay the fair amount for a costume, which should honestly be cents or dollars.
Honestly, it should be like $2.
Yeah, and I mean, and the thing is, like, they probably make a lot of money that way. But of course, they're whale hunting in a way, right? They know there's people out there who will pay the money every month, rich people, and they don't care about anybody else. But it's just, you're right. Like, I guess, like, this is a little bit outside the idea of games for a sec, but it's like, we already live in a world where everywhere we go, always, all the time, even on websites, computers, we drive down the street, everyone just wants money from you always. Do you know what I mean? We have
Totally.
so few times to not be nickel and dimed. You know what I mean? Like, so few times.
Yeah.
Like hell,
Yeah.
you go to the movies and you want a water bottle, you're spending $4 on a water bottle. Like there's so few opportunities now, and even like it's even now something where as an adult, like with my own friends, it's like they're less interested if they're not gonna get something out of it monetarily.
Mm-hmm.
So it's frustrating, and it's like the few things we have, like in Canada, going to the hospital. I don't feel like I'm nickel and dime there. I feel like they're genuinely trying to help me. And when it comes to games, like sure, of course, games is an industry where I'm spending money and I'm buying the games. But it's nice to know that once I've spent $80 on a game, I'm free of that feeling for the entire time I'm playing the game. Like I'm not gonna play a Zelda where I go to a shop in the game and all of a sudden it's asking me for real world money in my credit card. Like I'll never play Genshin Impact because of that. Like
Yeah.
I have zero interest. Like to me, gaming is a form of escapism, and I need to escape capitalist life from in the game.
That's exactly how I feel. It's like the ever presence of like spending money. I want to get away from.
Yeah, I'm okay with it with an upfront cost because I understand developers have spent years on this. Do you know what I mean?
Same with DLCs, right? Like you said, I'm okay with spending $30 or $25 on a DLC pack. Like that's okay.
Yeah.
But imagine on the character select screen for Smash Bros. There was $1.99 covering every character that you didn't buy. Like
Yeah.
I would absolutely hate that.
Yeah, it feels nebulous. Like it feels evil, predatory. Like there's nothing.
I think you mean nefarious.
Well, well, nebulous and nefarious are kind of similar words, aren't they?
Nebulous means like within a web, like connected into a cloud of like concepts that are
Nefarious means evil intentions, right? Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, and you know the thing that's too bad is like, did Blizzard need to go this direction? Like, was Overwatch 1 not a success?
Overwatch 1 was a success until they made some bad moves to like force the esport to thrive, which caused the player base to drop in the casual world. And then they're like, oh, we're making Overwatch 2, and they dropped all support for Overwatch 1. And so everyone abandoned ship because they're like, this game has no new heroes, no new maps, no new anything. And they did that for so many years that now they're like, oh, Overwatch 2 is free to play, all this kind of stuff. And I think, again, people are going to jump in because it's new. But after like a month, they're going to go, wow, this game like is kind of shit because of all these scuzzy practices, and they're going to drop out of this game too.
There's no new heroes in Overwatch 2?
3. So again, the first one came out with like 20, I don't know, 18 to 20 heroes or something, and they added, maybe another 8 over the course of its lifetime. And then this new game, they've been in development for years. They stopped doing any content updates for Overwatch 1, and they only dropped 3 new heroes. And people are kind of like, man, like that's really that's the only thing you've added. So the other thing they're going to add is this PvE mode where it's like a co-op. Mm-hmm. So you're fighting AI, and like there's supposed to be like skill trees, and you can upgrade your characters, and like that looks really freaking cool. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's going to be free. So that might be the part where it's actually like, oh, you have to pay $35 for it or whatever, and you get that whole the whole real Overwatch 2 thing that we've been working on for years. The PvP just feels like Overwatch 1 enhanced with a shitty monetization scheme.
Wow. Okay. To enhance a little, but you're saying the gameplay is still good, but it's so weird how a company like Blizzard, who's had so many years of expertise with online gaming and popular online games, could screw up Overwatch so bad.
Yeah, but the moment Blizzard was bought by Activision, like Blizzard is absolute shit. Like even Diablo 3, like their auction house was garbage. Overwatch 1, they shoved down these things down their throat. Hearthstone didn't do that well. Diablo 2 Resurrected, like whatever.
Wasn't there like a Warcraft remake that everyone hated?
Well, yeah, World of Warcraft 3 was shit. World of Warcraft Classic, because no one liked how World of Warcraft, the real one, was going. Like Diablo 4 looks pretty good because I forget who they brought in as the lead designer. They brought him in, like it's the guy that made, I can't remember what he made, but he made other like really good games.
Okay.
And he came in and he's like, he like told all his fans, he's like, I'm not gonna fuck up Diablo 4 for you guys. Like, we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do this because I don't want to make this game bad. Like, I want Diablo 4 to be as like revered as Diablo 2 was. Like,
it looks great. Diablo 4 looks great.
Yeah, like I'm sorry for Diablo 4, but like, I do worry because they have said Diablo 4 is also gonna have a battle pass. The one thing that's kind of nice about Diablo 4 is I don't care about the cosmetics as much. But, even if you look at the cosmetics that they've shown, like the ones in the battle pass are like 100 times cooler looking than the
I did
ones
see that. I know like the costumes in the battle pass are just like way out more detailed and more awesome.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, do I really care about that? No, because I think the gameplay will be fun, but it's a little bit kind of like, man, like just sell us the fucking game, and like why are you doing that? Like just make a good game, put the content in the game, and just let the game be the game. Like you're gonna sell 30 million Diablo copies no matter what.
Yeah, I didn't notice. So I had Diablo 3 on Switch, and I didn't notice. To be honest, I didn't buy any microtransactions, but it felt pretty reasonable with the upgrading and getting new gear and stuff. Like it never felt cheap.
So when Diablo 3 first came out, they had a real money auction house, and it was so poorly received, and all these like, because the moment you bring money into those kinds of games, you get people that farm, right, and people that just do the same, that they find the fastest like gimmick or exploit in the game to get the best gear, and they do it 100,000 times over and over and over again, and they sell it. Like I had a buddy that literally he made like $600 in the first week of Diablo 3 because he found this one cave that was one room that had one unique boss in it, and he knew if he did it 150 times like a day, he would get a certain items that he could sell. And he's like, man, it's not like I'm playing for fun, I'm playing for work. It's like he made more money, like he was making more than he would at his job, but again, it's like he wasn't having fun, and it was such a bad idea they like let that guy go. Like the guy that was the lead developer of Diablo 3, I think he made some post where he's like, you guys don't fucking know what's good about this game. And like he got let go, and they scrapped the entire auction house.
Wow. So I guess by the time I played it, the Switch port, it was cleaned up.
Yeah, a ton. It's way, way, way better.
I mean, the best thing that could happen with Blizzard is if Microsoft buying Activision should like split Blizzard away from Activision and basically like bring them back to glory basically like for me it's kind of like, well, Microsoft is buying Blizzard, so shouldn't Diablo 4 be on Game Pass? Like shouldn't these games be used as sellers for a service and not for predatory microtransactions, you know?
I'm betting. And also like if you look at Microsoft's life, like currently they're not microtransaction heavy. They're kind of like, we want free stuff players that want, and our main goal is like Game Pass, right? That's their goal. So I'm hoping that they say, hey Blizzard, like don't worry about like, you know, your money schemes and your sales, like we're like just do Game Pass, like just get us on Game Pass and keep these sales going.
Yeah. Because,
you know, like if you get World of Warcraft people playing on Game Pass, like who gives a shit about the microtransactions? Like you're gonna have 10 million players
paying forever.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's hope. Yeah. I hope. I mean, it's. I always feel like the world of gaming is like hinging on this predatory multiplayer takeover. You know?
I feel like there's two directions. I feel that there's like kind of Nintendo and like the indie scene, and you know Sony's first party games, and even some of Xbox's Microsoft stuff, which is kind of like, we want to make good games, fun games, like games. And then you have companies that are like, you know, a little bit of Ubisoft, EA, Activision Blizzard, or Konami, that are like, how can we milk these cryptocurrency, NFT, microtransaction, bullshit padding to the nth level, iterations every year of the same games with slight upgrades to sell the most money we possibly can.
You know, I saw someone online said that for a company like Ubisoft, they only need one of their games of a service to do okay, and it'll make up for the failure of three or four other games as a service. So for them to turn everything they do, you know, they have the Skull and Bones game, that'll probably have microtransactions. They've got Rainbow Six is now a microtransaction kind of game. Like they only need one of these games to do okay to make up for everything else. But I think you're right. Like I think the Ubisoft that's making Mario X Rabbids is almost like that's like not the future for that company.
No, yeah. I almost hope that Nintendo buys that one group.
Yeah. Who knows, right? But you're right. It's kind of going those two separate ways. But I mean, I know which side I'm on, but I just worry that maybe I'm on the side that's aging out.
I think we're on the side for the customers, but I think there's enough, you know, a lot of my students, like they don't know better. Like they are victims to predatory sales like that.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh yeah, they gotta get the battle pass. All my friends are getting the battle pass. Gotta buy the skin. All my friends have the skin. And it's kind of like, you're the reason that those things work. Like I have so many friends that are not friends. I have so many students that are so into NFTs, and they don't even understand what they are. They're just like, man, NFTs are so big. Like you can buy this picture online for $500, and like it's gonna go up in price. Like they don't get it. And I think in terms of
NFTs, those are just gonna go away because like they're just such a flop. Like they're such an obvious scam.
Yeah.
Even crypto's way in the dumps. So I don't know if those things, like I know there's a lot of stupidity around people being like, oh, NFTs are so cool, like NFT bros. But I don't think I don't see any sustainable future in that because it's like incredibly stupid.
Yeah, I was just trying to get a picture of like, you know, I know a lot of students that are 18 and under that aren't aware of like the economic environment around them of how their spending matters, or they're not good with money.
Yeah.
Like they're so bad with money, they just blow through their money. Like it's ridiculous on these stupid shit.
And it's also, I mean, these games with microtransactions and battle passes, like it's a predatory tactic. Like it's I mean, at least I remember just playing Clash of Clans, right? And it's the kind of game where you start to play and it's really fun. It's got all these multiplayer aspects. It's really well made, and it's really addictive because when when your thing upgrades, you dig for more jewels. Like you get this diddling, 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 and your numbers are going up, and you're like, oh, this is fun. But like very slowly, it starts longer and longer to do anything, and before you know it, it takes days to do one thing. You want to dig for jewels here? Oh, you got to wait 48 hours, or you can pay $5 and get a whole bunch of jewels right now.
And it starts to feel like work sometimes, some of those games.
Well, yeah, this Clash of Clans is a $1 billion game. And then you're like, oh, there's raids. Oh my God, I got to upgrade this before my raid. And it's like, it's literally designed around the idea of taking money from you. I mean, it's like really gross. And, but my fear is that the future of games is a bunch of people just mindlessly drooling in front of, essentially slot machines, right? And just doing rote actions like on things like Angry Birds and games like that, where the actual to design a good game will be not lucrative for a developer.
So I think for the AAA corporations, I don't know how that's going to go because to create those games you have to have that kind of profit, right, to be sustainable.
Yeah.
But I think I don't think games are going to go away because if you look at the indie scene, there are so many indie games that are making a lot of money, are profitable, are making multiple games. The indie scene is kind of like the renaissance because they don't really need those microtransactions, most of them, because they can make a game for a small budget with a small team, and it's a really good game.
Yeah,
they're just cutting their costs on the graphics, right? You don't need to have these gross 1,000-person teams making these graphics when you can just have a simple concept of a game that's just creative.
Yeah. No, totally. And I hope the tentpole release market stays up, but it's nowadays it's like, you need for something like God of War or Zelda, those games like they spend 5 years to make them. They put their huge development cost into it, and they know they're going to sell 20 million copies. But I hope that type of thing sustains, even though it seems to be shrinking, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if going forward as technology gets more improved and stuff, like something like you really only get a tentpole release every 2 years or 1 or 2 years, and it looks like this year in terms of like big tentpole releases, like it's pretty much Elden Ring and God of War. Like nothing else is the budget or scale or size or requiring the sales. And and as Nintendo goes forward, games like Splatoon and Bayonetta and Kirby going to 4K and with higher expectations the cost will go up on those too. So it's always interesting to see where these kind of things are going, right?
The one thing I like about Nintendo is, they are scaling their games as far as quality, not that they're bad quality, I guess, but like their graphical quality and their size of games are scaling at like an actual reasonable pace, that they're not being overwhelmed with the financial burden, right? Bayonetta 3 looks great, but it's not going to be, it's not like they're blowing the bank and hoping this game is a success. Like none of their games are like that. Even I think about Pokemon, right? Like Pokemon has the budget to look as good as God of War. You know what I mean? Like they have enough money where they could just do that.
I think it's more of a time thing. They don't want to spend 5
I know,
years.
Totally. But the thing is, like, the games are selling and they're kind of like, we don't need to push the limits of our money and our time and our effort and our graphic abilities and our workforce to pump that out when we have a moderate growth of what our games look like and and they're still selling really well. Like I think the issue is games just in general their graphics have outpaced the reasonable of what they should be, and now consumers are expecting the graphics to be that.
Yeah. That's true. And I mean, and then I'm kind of reached a wall myself where like I don't really know how much better I need graphics to be. Like I'm more interested in at this point when it comes to what would be an improvement in technology, to me it's more like scope. Like I want to remove load times. I want to be able to go in buildings. And some of those ideas maybe not even feasible no matter what budget they have. You know what I mean? Or what graphical target, right? And like maybe we will just get down to an industry that has, 8 tentpole games, which would be, Assassin's Creed, Mario, GTA, Zelda, and like there'd only be, even now we can only really count maybe 15 tentpole release games.
Total? No. I think more than that, but
Well, I mean, it depends what we consider tentpole franchises, right?
yeah.
But I don't know. It's interesting, but I mean, I'm glad. That's why I love Nintendo, right? They don't seem to fall into those traps, and it's just wonderful that you can buy a 2D Metroid game that's complete in and of itself. It doesn't need patches or crazy DLC or microtransactions. It's just like it's just game design. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it didn't need to have any modern crazy thing. It just needed to have some new ideas. You know what I mean? Some new ideas and a fresh take. Like, and maybe that's what games need. Like what like did Splatoon 3 like did it need to have a major open world campaign? Like would that have even really been what people wanted? Like maybe being more modest is the way to go. I don't know. But anyways, Derek,
we'll see.
Is that all the games you've been playing?
That's all for me. How about you? You got one left?
The last game I was playing is I actually played Pokemon New Snap.
Oh.
Yeah, nice. Like I haven't played in years because I got to that part where I couldn't find the one plant that I needed to take a picture of, but I found it. So I played with my buddy and we did the level over and over again, beat it. And I don't know if did you ever play the DLC?
Yeah. I liked it.
Where you like shrink down and stuff?
That's one of the levels, and the other one's the water rafting.
Oh, okay, cool. Like this.
And then there's a beach level too. Yeah.
I gotta say, this game the more I've played and progressed in it, it really is just a like really fun, awesome, unlike anything else.
I love it. I'm gonna go back and play more of it eventually.
I love it too. The one thing I gotta say is like there's something seems a little bit broken about the photos. Like what gets the score of what seems almost more broken than it should be sometimes. Like when I was playing with my friend, we always guess the scores, and it just seems like sometimes we're like, what? Like, you know what I mean? How is that a better picture? Like, so some of it seems a little broken, but other than that, it's an awesome game.
Yeah, I love that game. I think it's like one of my most played games. I think I have like 70 hours on it. Like I love that game.
It's wild sometimes when I think about the Switch, and obviously there's been Mario's and Zelda and stuff, but just to think that this is a system that's had, we brought back a 2D Metroid, we brought back Luigi's Mansion, we brought back a new Pokemon Snap.
Pikmin 4's on its way.
Like it's just, and it's like, yes, the staples are there, but it's just really cool to think, like if you had told me all these things were going to come out for Switch back in 2017, I would have been like, whoa, that's so awesome. You know what I mean? It's so awesome that's coming, right? Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much it for this podcast, Eric.
Yeah, I think that 2-hour session is a good amount.
Yeah, totally. Okay, well, if you're still listening to us, thanks for joining. I hope you listen to more soon. Yeah, Derek, thanks for the chat.
Yeah, thanks for talking. This is Derek. See you later.
This is Peter signing out.